Hi Fam Bam, welcome back to the Health Hack series. Today I have some health hacks for sickness. If there's one thing I really don't like to do, it's getting sick. And I don't think any of us like getting sick, but I have kids that homeschool, I work from home, we're out all the time going to the library and parks, and it's really easy to get exposed to things, and you sometimes just can't help but almost get sick or actually get sick. And one of the things that I try to stay away from is a lot of over-the-counter medication, chemicals, and even prescribed things that are super strong if my body doesn't need it. The reason is because I like my body to learn how to function and handle things on its own as much as possible. I'm not against medication or pharmaceuticals, but there's a time and place for that, and I think that a lot of us actually abuse it, which is why we end up getting super viruses and we start having to make stronger antibiotics and medications because we are abusing it rather than using it as a very last resort instead of kind of trying to urge our body to get stronger and do it on its own. So some of these health hacks for sickness are ways that I have approached preventing sickness, curing sickness really quick, and easing symptoms of sickness, and I hope it adds tremendous value to your life. If you guys like it, make sure you hit thumbs up, letting me know. If you have any questions or comments, leave it below, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel for more ways to level up your current reality. So the first health hack for sickness that I have is apple cider vinegar. I have certain ingredients or products that I think are like a one-all solution for so many things. And apple cider vinegar is one of those things, and I can go forever, and maybe I should make a video on things that apple cider vinegar solves. But whether you're having allergies, congestion, sore throat, you're feeling like sickness come along, or you have high acidity levels and inflammation, apple cider vinegar is a great way to help ease these symptoms and sometimes almost put a complete halt to them actually developing. The best way to take apple cider vinegar is to start with 1 to 2 tablespoons a day on separate occasions, and to make sure you eat it with a meal. Also, you want to make sure your meal does not interact poorly with apple cider vinegar. Many of you might ask why apple cider vinegar when vinegar seems super acidic, but apple cider vinegar actually helps promote alkalinity and balance within your body. So as long as you're consuming it with a meal, and I like consuming it with like absorbent meals, you know, kind of like with rice, like something that I'm eating with rice, or like a sandwich, something that is not going to, like I said, make a weird concoction in your belly. Because if you're having like a fresh bowl of fruit and you're taking apple cider vinegar with it, that might not mix really well. So make sure it's a nice kind of level meal, especially if this is like your first time taking it, and only start off with like a small tablespoon, see how that feels, then work your way up the following days after. The next really simple and cheap approach that is super effective for similar reasons as ACV is lemon, ginger, lime, and water. And so a lot of people like to use lemon ginger for tea. I don't like it because it's not as strong. For me, I like to take the ginger, cut off like an inch or like thumb-sized piece, stick it in the blender, juice like 2 to 4 lemons of juice and a couple limes, stick it all in the blender with water, blend it all up, and chug it down like a shot or a tonic, and it really helps soothe a sore throat, strep throat, infections and congestions. It is kind of like apple cider vinegar on steroids in the alkalizing perspective. It just really gives the body like a shot of oomph, and it feels great. It's amazing. And if you want to spruce it up a little bit, you can add a splash of pineapple juice. It is so good. I remember the first time that I took this, a friend had told me to do this every day, at least 3 or 4 times a day, because I had ear infection, sinus infection, and a strep throat, and I wanted to heal really quick. and I told them that I had acid reflux, and there was no way that I was going to just eat fresh fruits and veggies, take apple cider vinegar, and then dump down this huge tonic of lemon and lime and ginger 4 or 5 times a day. But what was amazing was all of this stuff actually promoted alkalinity in the body, and I healed in 2 days so quickly. I've never felt better in my life. My acidity complex was actually gone and healed. I learned so much about pH, which if you're in my MOVE program, you know we talk a lot about the importance of pH and having a balanced pH in the body and how that promotes health versus having an acidic balance in the body actually promotes illness and disease. So to take either 1 or 2 of these, even regularly when you're not feeling sick, they're amazing ways to get alkalized really, really fast. The next health hack I have is colloidal silver. I felt like colloidal silver was like a gimmick item, or like it was just bottled water, until I actually used it for an ear infection. And I've never had an ear infection ever since I started using colloidal silver. If you feel like you're starting to get sore in the ears, especially when you have a sore throat, all you need to do is drop a few drops in the ear, lay on your side for 5 to 10 minutes, dump it out, and do the other side twice a day, every day, until the soreness or the infection ceases. And it works amazingly as eye drops if you have like a cut in your eye, or like something gets in your eye and you're worried about contamination. I use it to cleanse and flush the eye out. I use it to boost my immunity. I use it for cuts. And I also like using it after the Neti Pot, which is my next health hack. You guys have seen me on Instagram or Snapchat, if you follow me there, using the Neti Pot frequently as a preventative measure when people around me are sick. And I feel like it's a great way to flush out irritants in the sinus tract that promote congestion and inflammation. And I also like including essential oils with the Neti Pot flush to just help soothe and make it a really nice experience. The thing that I learned though is that saline or salt water can actually promote bacteria growth, even though it is kind of the natural pH for your sinuses. So I always follow up my Neti Pot flushes with some colloidal silver drops into my nose. And I know that Sovereign Silver, which is my preferred brand, also makes a spray for that. So I don't know if it's for the nose or the back of the throat, but I know they do have like a spray bottle, which is a lot more appealing than sniffing up drops of silver, but it works either way. One thing I have noticed is when I drink tea regularly and daily, and herbal teas, they boost the antioxidants in my body and they seem to make me more immune resistant, have better immunity, I guess is what I'm trying to say, from being sick. So I recommend drinking tea at least 1 cup a day because it seems to help. Plus it's such a pleasant experience and a great replacement for coffee if you're looking for a replacement. So I really like tea, and that's a big bonus health hack that's super easy to incorporate regularly. Anytime I feel like I'm about to get sick or I'm going to be exposed to people of sickness or have been exposed, I always ramp up my vitamin B's and C's. I know we hear about it, but it really does help. And because I'm not a doctor or like a dietitian that can actually prescribe this to you, all I'm gonna say is I take a lot more than the recommended dose, and it actually helps. But I can't say that I suggest that because I don't want anybody to get in trouble. But that's something that I have noticed that actually does help my situation, as well as replacing my regular water with alkaline water. So I'm a big fan of alkaline water, but it does get pretty expensive, and I am also not a fan of bottled water, which most of the time that's all you can find alkaline water in, unless you're naturally pumping or collecting it yourself. So alkaline water is something that I reserve for special occasions, like when I've worked out really hard or I feel inflamed, or like I'm about to get sick or healing from being sick. It just helps promote that alkalinity we talked about at the beginning of the video. I also like to check my lymph nodes, which you'll feel them kind of here or like down your throat. You can feel some like in your armpits or your hips, but for me, I notice them mostly right down my neck here. And if they start to get inflamed, I have done this so many times, it's like a miracle. Like my throat will start to feel kind of sore, or like sore in the back of my sinuses, and I'll feel for my lymph nodes, and you'll feel that they kind of swell, like it's a lean or a smooth big bump underneath. And what I've learned to do is take some coconut oil and frankincense oil and massage the lymph nodes down. So I'll take the lymph nodes and gently rub the lymph nodes with my fingertips. No real pressure needs to be applied because the little water veins are so tiny that all you need to do is encourage it to flow down. And then what I'll do is I'll take my hands and my fingers and rub them down into my chest, and you're rubbing it towards the heart. So if you're working with the lymph nodes in the armpits or the arms, you're going to massage it towards the heart. And if you're working from the hips up, you're going to massage it up. But typically what I'll notice is when I start to get sore in my throat or my ears, my lymph nodes will be swollen. I will take this coconut oil and frankincense mixture, give myself a 5 to 10 minute massage before bed, making sure that it's all coming down towards the heart, and the next day it will be gone. So I just make sure to give them a massage once or twice a day when I feel like they're working hard and processing a lot of stuff. The last sickness hack or health hack for sickness that I have for you is using eucalyptus for decongesting and migraines or headaches, and also cooling. So if you're already sick and you're experiencing some really uncomfortable symptoms, you can use eucalyptus, tea tree, and or peppermint. I recommend eucalyptus because it's the most mild, but it has the similar effects of the peppermint and the tea tree. And it's a really great way to use a carrier oil like coconut oil or jojoba or castor, mix it with the eucalyptus, apply it to the chest and the back like you would Vicks. I believe Vicks actually does use eucalyptus, or at least the smell of it. So it's basically like a very clean, simple homemade Vicks, and you can apply this to your nose. And if you get little headaches or migraines, you can massage some into your temples above the forehead. It also has a nice cooling effect if you're experiencing a fever. I've mentioned in some of my old videos that there was an occasion where we lived out in like the middle of nowhere in Hawaii, and the nearest hospital was 45 minutes that way or an hour and a half this way. And my little girl had a 107-degree fever spike, and it was the scariest thing ever. And I was lucky enough to have peppermint oil, which I'm not stoked on using on small children or babies, but I was desperate to get her fever down, and we didn't have any fever reducers. So had I had eucalyptus, it would have been my main go-to. But basically what I did was take a minimal drop with some water, dump our face towel in this water, wring it out, and just lay it on her head and wipe her head and her back down. And within a few minutes, her fever had dropped back down to 104. It was like 105, 104, then 103, and it stabilized there, which is not really that bad. It's really when you get up in the 106, 107, 108 that it becomes scary and kind of detrimental. So I was so thankful to have the oils with me and to have that really manage that situation, which is why I will always carry essential oils with me as a backup, as well as fever reducers now to this day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on health hacks for sickness. If you guys have any other health hacks that you'd like to include, stick it below. And just remember to go out there, love yourself, treat yourself good, be preventative, and be aware. It's all about what adds value to our lives so that we can add value to others around us and live the most meaningful lives possible. So remember to go out there, be good, be great, and most of all, be grateful. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Ciao.